Welcome to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Ragucci, and this is Replay, Relive, and Re-Experience, or as we like to call it, Re3s, where, you guessed it, we do all three of those things to our favorite video game franchises. In this edition of Re3, we will be reliving, replaying, and re-experiencing Halo, starting from the beginning with Combat Evolved and ending with Halo 5 Guardians, in anticipation for, you guessed it, Halo Infinite at the end of the year. Here to go on Master Chief Saga with me, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
What's going on?
And Delaware County's own, Chris Geddes. Guys, welcome.
What's up? What's up?
Gooch, how are you?
I'm good. We have finally made it to the end of Halo 3, and honestly, like, for some reason, I have a lot, like, maybe this is a bit early for me to say, but I have a lot more admiration for the end of Halo 3 than I thought I did. Like, the beginning felt, like, really weak, and then the end felt really strong for me.
I'm with you.
I don't know. Yeah, Trio, you feel the same way?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, like, it starts off, it does. It really does. And there is something to, like, having more context as an adult and going through this and kind of really grasping what's happening that I feel like adds some layers. But no, I totally agree.
Mr. Geddes, any comment?
No, I mean, I agree. Definitely, playing it before, and I jumped around a lot in the story just to, I did the Warthog run a lot. So,
I did it 3 times just to make sure I really understood it.
But, I thought the
lore there,
the lore. I thought the cutscene at the end when when Chief goes in the cryotube, I thought that was legendary only for the longest time.
No, there is a legendary only part of it, but I'll bring it up.
I was a little confused. I was like, wait, where is? Oh, I'm not.
I was thinking the same thing. I think in the Warthog run, I'm like, what's the legendary ending of this game? I don't even think there is one, but
there is.
Yeah, okay. It's very.
I felt like I remembered something,
and especially at the time when like Halo wasn't set to
return.
Right, it's a little, the context is a little bit different.
Sure,
but anyway, guys, episode 17, Cortana Halo Epilogue. Let's jump into it. The synopsis of Cortana is: this is the 9th level and the penultimate campaign level of Halo 3. It takes place in the flood-infested High Charity, and your mission is to find Cortana in order to activate Installation 8. The newly built Halo ring. And I didn't know that this Halo ring was actually Installation 8, not like Installation
4.2 or whatever. Yeah,
I was like, I'm
going to do you one better. I had no idea we were even on a replica of an old Halo when I played this game the first time.
Oh, I thought it was just a level? I don't think I realized that either.
Again, that's, like when I'm talking about context of like, oh, okay, that's cool to know.
Right. I guess this makes a lot more sense.
It does.
So Master Chief flies his Banshee into High Charity. Since we have a lot of this whole level is like basically us going over Cortana and Gravemind dialogue. So I'll be Cortana. Who wants to be Gravemind?
I can be Gravemind.
All right, and you want to be Johnson?
Yeah, that's cool.
We're going to be going back and forth a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we gotta put on our acting faces
before we go into through this level. The audio mixing, I think we have to go back to it. It's just
trash.
Awful.
It's funny how, like, especially going from the remakes to like how they really leveled out. I feel like the music and all that stuff, and really like made it very impactful when you hear like the score raise. Whereas this, you're right, it's terribly mixed.
Yeah,
you barely notice it, or you hear it in the background a little bit. I noticed that especially with the music.
I noticed it more with the dialogue. I mean, you can't really, half of the stuff that we're going to talk about, you can't even
hear.
You can't.
There's a lot of Cortana lines that are said in ambient dialogue, and like you just can't hear it.
You'll make out like the end of it.
Honestly, I don't even know.
The very end of it.
Yeah, or like certain words that are just like pronunciated louder. It's like, oh, I think I heard none of that, but all right.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, Johnson, what's going on?
Chief, I'll round up. All right, first thought. Let's
Unique New York. Come on,
unique New York.
Yeah.
Chief, I'll round up our survivors. Fall back to the dawn.
And I only wanted to give that as a reference that the fact that like, okay, like at the end of this, we're going to be falling back to the dawn. Sergeant Johnson knows that Master Chief is going to get Cortana, and then he also references the elites are going to do the same thing. So like, we're all going to get to the dawn at the end of the day.
We're doing it all. All right.
All right, Gravemind. So real quick, since we're gonna be basically talking as Cortana and Gravemind, the whole level you are trekking towards Cortana, and Gravemind is talking to you, and Cortana's talking to you, and Cortana's like being rampant, and Gravemind's freaking out too, and that's basically the context of this whole level.
So, by this point, why is Cortana rampant? It's because she's just been on this planet. Like, how long has she been on High Charity?
Think about it. A few days.
That's what I thought. So that's okay.
So Gravemind must be infecting her
In some way.
Is he like trying to infect her? And
But
does it work
I
the
thought
same
like,
with an
but that's
AI?
what I thought. The whole point of AIs was that biologically they can't be interfered with by. But I guess psychologically you could be fucked with.
Right, and
Well,
I
like,
think
as
that's the thing, because Cortana's not a normal AI.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes, right?
Okay, yeah,
And
I
was
guess that's more context we get later in the series, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And we've already talked about it in like the episode of Halo 1 when we're talking about Cortana and how she's like the clone of Halsey in AI form, essentially.
But by this point, like
We don't know that.
Yeah, we had no idea. Okay.
Right.
All right.
Well, I think we know, but we don't really know.
Okay.
You know?
Interesting.
We know, but we don't.
Sure, I get it. You know.
And I'm glad you brought that up because, again, think about it. Halo 2 was like a few days ago.
So that's the
like,
funny thing. I was talking to
gotta
Ian about
remember
this
that.
last night, and I'm like, yeah, I think I even said it was longer. I was like, I think they take place over the course of a month, so it's only a week.
Ian is now your roommate. Give context.
Oh
to
yes,
it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my Ian roommate or roommate Ian.
The roommate.
The roommate.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's a week. You're saying this basically takes place over these 3 games.
Yeah, pretty much, right? This
Interesting.
Halo 3 has to be a few days.
I think so. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. I actually didn't get the dates, and I meant to. Fuck.
Can we
we'll-
bring up? We're gonna backtrack to Halo 1 a second. Can we bring up those tweets from Marcus? Was it Leto about
Yeah,
all
the
like
guy-
those the cut assets from the game?
Oh yeah, I did.
excavator
That
talking
was
about.
insane. That was the one. So that was a pre like
This
that
is
was like a beta-
Pre-engineer, pre-elite.
Yeah.
like,
Wow.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
interesting
so cool.
to see like you see like the pixels and stuff, right? Like
Yeah.
that's insane.
like the stealth tank.
Yeah.
That's basically the tank from Halo 5.
Interesting.
Pretty much confirmed. They
Yeah, I
look
thought
almost
that was
identical.
very like ironic that those tweets are coming out.
Just
I'm like,
happened
oh,
to-
I'm like, there's the excavator.
Yeah,
We talked
the
about them all
excavator.
the other
That's
day.
so cool.
I was like, that's crazy.
What are the chances?
There was one other thing I think I wanted to bring up. Oh, I like how like we're back on High Charity. We've been here before, but like it's so transformed. And again, it's only been a few fucking days.
Yeah.
So
That
they've
the
just been breeding like pigs.
the dude Flood has utterly transformed this place. It's just unrecognizable. Like I don't think there's one location that you go, oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely
you're
not.
right. It's just all caked in flood goo. It's awful.
Caked in Flood goo.
I
That's a good
hate
way
it.
to put
Yeah.
All right, Gravemind.
Child of my enemy, why have you come? I offer no forgiveness. A father's sins pass to his son.
This is a Cortana moment. A strange mix of cries and agony and psychotic laughter.
I ran, tried to stay hidden, but there was no escape. It cornered me, wrapped me tight, and brought me close.
Of course, you came for her, but there is nothing left. We exist together now. 2 corpses in one grave.
Cortana has some deranged laughter here. I'll save you my rendition of that.
Sorry, I had to give you mine.
This is during the terminal of this level.
It was the coin's fault. Don't blame me. Blame the eagle. I wanted to make you strong, keep you safe. I'm sorry. I can't.
This is a reference to, I think, a book, but I have it in the trivia down below. But this is a point where Cortana begins to show signs of rampancy.
Okay.
She's casually and kindly, although, so she says the next thing I'm going to say, casually and kindly, as though nothing is wrong.
Can I speak with you, please? What's your name? It's very nice to meet you. You like games. So do I.
This is the dialogue that this is what I was bringing up specifically, because you could hear like the very end, like please, or like I could hear what's your name, and then it would just cut out and it would come back, and I can't get
couldn't
over it.
understand it.
Can't
Yeah.
understand it. Yeah,
That's
like,
what-
the
that's
dialogue's awesome. The dialogue's
interesting.
really good.
Cortana says this, upset and frightened.
I'm just my mother's shadow, her reflection in a mirror. Don't look at me. Don't listen. I'm not who I used to be.
And then the Gravemind comes in angrily.
Time has taught me patience to lord my strength for darkness. But basking in new freedom, I will know all that I possess!
Cortana says, panicking, her voice slightly distorted. I have walked the edge of the abyss, and I have seen your future, and I have learned. The image of Cortana suddenly turns a tinge of green. She clutches her head and writhes in pain.
Submit! End her torment and my own!
There will be no more sadness, no more anger, no more envy. A reference to the 3 main stages of rampancy.
You will show me what she hides, or I shall feast upon your bones.
So Cortana says this in a very monotone, brainwashed way.
This is UNSC AI serial number CTN0452-9. I am a monument to all your sins.
A reference to John and Cortana's first meeting with the Gravemind. Basically, all this dialogue, we are at the end of the level. We finally reach Cortana. John rushes to the end of the hallway to find Cortana lying prone in a stasis field in a center podium. The room resembles the Sanctum of the Hierarchs. He beats and bashes the shield until it finally fails.
I just want to preface this with, I think this is the most dialogue he has in any scene in these games, right? Am I wrong? I feel like he speaks more in this one scene than I feel like he does in any other scene, like in this whole series.
It's very astute observation.
I
You're probably
don't know,
right?
Because I was just sitting there, I'm like, wow, he's talking a lot. Like I feel like,
because he cares about Cortana.
No, it's true, but like I guess I never did notice how little he spoke in these games until this replay. So it's just, I feel like it's an impactful moment to hear him like speak to
anytime
this.
he speaks.
Yeah, like, and to have it a continued comment. It's not just like yes sir, or like, you know, like
it's
it was
not
interesting.
He's actually like having a
full-on
dialogue.
conversation.
Yeah, it's not just yes,
sir,
answering and
hoorah,
kind of like making like a joke here and there, which he does occasionally.
You found me. But so much of me is wrong. Out of place. You might be too late.
You know me. When I make a promise.
You keep it. I do know how to pick 'em.
Lucky me. Do you still have it?
The activation index from the first Halo ring. A little souvenir I hung on to, just in case. Got an escape plan?
Thought I'd try shooting my way out. Mix things up a little.
Just keep your head down. There's 2 of us in here now, remember?
John takes Cortana's old data chip out of his helmet and holds it in front of her. Cortana touches it and its core uploads herself to the chip, and John inserts Cortana back at long last into his armor. I really like how she just has to touch it and she's in it.
No,
and
I did too. I thought
a cool
it was
touch.
And the way he like even later he like the way she like walks off it. Yeah, it's interesting. I thought that
like
was,
I think before like he put the chip
inside.
Yeah, like I think that's like a kind of like a more personal touch to the like relationship they have.
That is interesting.
Yeah. Cortana says, jokingly exasperated, just keep your head down. There's 2 of us in here now, remember? A reference to Halo Combat Evolved when she says the same thing once you get her in your head. So we'll switch back to gameplay as we try to get the hell out of Dodge, Gravemind. Will you roar for me?
Gooch, you should come in with a post-edit roar.
I can do that. I can do that.
Now at last I see. Her secret is revealed.
Master Chief makes it back into the reactor room. So basically, Gravemind was looking for the activation index.
He knew, he knew she just had something. He didn't necessarily know she had exactly what it was.
But yeah, it doesn't sound like he had any context to what she had.
Yeah,
was
she's like, that's what it is. Yes.
Yeah. So Cortana says, wait, we need to buy some time. This reactor, start a chain reaction, destroy High Charity. The Flood begin to swarm the reactor room, realizing John's plan. However, we successfully destroy all 3 reactors, and John makes his way back. And once we do, Cortana goes, I've got a friendly contact, but who would be crazy enough to come in here? Chief and Cortana find the Arbiter battling Flood with a flamethrower. John assists. Cortana, in an amused, no, it's okay, in an amused way, goes, wait, you 2 made nice? What else have you been up to while I've been gone?
I guess that's interesting. She wouldn't know that, right? I didn't even think about
she
that.
has no-
Yeah,
she-
that's
she-
interesting. I didn't think
It's
about
interesting though. She like really doesn't have any access to like the BattleNet, the Covenant BattleNet, or UNSC channels. Like she's truly in the dark, which is funny when like Arbiter does in fact show up with a human weapon fighting
that
the
is
Covenant.
interesting.
It's or the Flood. It's funny.
I love it.
John and the Arbiter find a Pelican, possibly from the ship in Amberclad, if you remember back from Halo 2, nearby and board it. John uploads Cortana in the Pelican's holotank and starts up the engines. One of Gray's mind tentacles advances to the dropship, but the heat from the thrust forces it to retreat. That was not obvious in that cutscene. It just looks like it's like, nah,
Yeah, I know.
Nah,
You know what I
noticed?
noticed a lot in this game? That like it seems like they use concept
I'm just
art
gonna bring that
behind.
up. Thank you for
So
bringing it
because
up.
I noticed
Yes,
it, like it's
this
like
level.
concept art, but I feel like I noticed it once or twice before too.
The beginning and the end of this level are definitely pieces of concept
that
art.
they literally just layered it over, right?
and
Like,
maybe they ran out of time.
I mean, honestly, it works well enough, but you can. I definitely know. I'm like, oh, this is concept art. Like this is, or not even necessarily concept art, but like a drawing,
An
like,
image.
Yeah, an
Yes.
image, exactly.
Yeah. The Pelican takes off. Smoke pours lightly from the left engine. The tentacle comes back and tries to wrap around the dropship, but John escapes. The Pelican barely escapes from a massive explosion caused by the reactor going critical as High Charity is finally destroyed, and the Pelican makes its way to the new Halo ring.
That was my explosion noise.
Great.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Keep your day job.
Guys. What? No.
I thought it was good.
But that was really good, right?
All right, so some trivia before we make our way to our final level. This level is a reference to the Halo Combat Evolved level, The Library, and the Halo 2 level, Sacred Icon, where you have to retrieve Halo's activation index, and it is a pure Flood level. The only difference is that there's no Sentinels, friendly or otherwise. The section of the level after saving Cortana is called Nor Hell of Fury, referencing the poem by William Congreve, The Morning Bride. The entire line is heaven has no rage and like love to hatred turned, nor hell a fury like a woman scorned. Possibly referencing Cortana, who after months of torment now has the ability to light the newly constructed Halo ring and destroy the Ark as well as the Flood.
Why does it say months?
I don't think it's
maybe
been months.
is like time perceived different.
I
See,
think
but that
it
is also the
truly
thing.
does feel like it's been a while, but
but-
it hasn't.
So, but they know, because obviously, like, I feel like we spoke about this before. Like, they usually don't really address this in many, like, games, like, or more, or sci-fi things like this, where, like, the relativity of time and shit like
Yes.
that. So, like, it would make sense if Cortana was stuck on High Charity for years. Because it was
But
on
for
a different,
us, it was a few days.
yeah, exactly.
Good point.
But they don't really seem to. It doesn't seem like the way that. I don't know. Actually, it seems like you could make that point. But then if Master Chief was there for like a few hours doing his thing, I guess that would be shorter on. That's so weird. Okay, that would work actually. I just talked that through in my head out loud. Continue, Gooch.
There we go. One of Cortana's lines, "There will be no more sadness, no more anger, no more envy," appears to be a reference to Marathon's stages of rampancy, melancholy, anger, and jealousy. The line, "It's the coin's fault," is a reference to a factor that brought John into the Spartan program. He identified the side of a 20th century quarter owned by Dr. Halsey that was about to hit the ground before it did in Halo: The Fall of Reach. It was a weird sentence, but I think we understood that.
The Fall of Reach is a book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Gravemind uses a line from Halo 2. "We exist together now, two corpses in one grave." This line is referring to Cortana and the referred Prophet of Mercy in Halo 2. This line was said in the level High Charity, as we just talked about. The line, "Just keep your head down, there's two of us in here," is a reference to the Pillar of Autumn, where Cortana, when your shield will go down, Cortana would say the exact same line. Cortana mentions, "I am the monument to all your sins." This is exactly what Gravemind first said when he rescues Master Chief and the Arbiter from death. So, one thing I wanted to mention here before we go on to Halo, because we're going to get into more of this. This is the first time the Halo series like really calls back on itself. I think it's something you see a lot in certain games of like that have some like legacy status, like,
Or even movies. I agree.
calling
Yeah.
back to certain like moment, like Star Wars, probably
Exactly.
a great example. Metal Gear Solid is a great example of a series that like constantly calls back to things that have happened,
Absolutely.
and it expects you to know all of it.
Yeah,
'Cause, like,
that's many things don't do that. Like they give you like ways in, but they usually don't make you go like they're not layering you with all these references. And you're being like, what the fuck is
I'm trying
happening?
to think of any other games off the top of my head.
Or even like a movie that like really like makes you like.
What's an old
Do you
series
think that
that's still
would
going?
ruin your experience? Like for say Metal Gear Solid, just as an example. Like, do you think that would ruin the experience for someone coming in late? Like that
No.
they're caking it with all these.
You just wouldn't get it.
But like
you would-
it's
don't
still
get it.
contact. But that's right. But that sounds like.
Well, I guess
that
like
sounds like it's not fun to me.
in,
I don't
in
get it.
MGS3, I guess if you're like or like MGS4, which is like the last game in the timeline culmination of everything that's come before. Yes, it ruins your experience because you're supposed to
and
know this.
to be
stuff.
honest, I'm actually not necessarily against that because I like that it makes you commit to like
Right, to commit to
really
the
be
story,
exactly.
commit to
And I
what's
felt like
going
the
on.
first like 3 Assassin's Creeds were kind of like that a lot.
I'm
too.
trying to even think. Does like Assassin's Creed really do that? It's like not,
Anymore?
Not really.
There's like
right?
there's like a tiny bit of a like through line in the present day, but I didn't pay much attention to it because it doesn't seem to be that pressing. I will say, we'll talk about it on our Assassin's Creed Valhalla review coming soon.
Oh yeah.
That they
Whatever that
actually, I finally finished it for God's
Yeah.
sakes. The ending of that, I was actually like, oh, like it really actually kind of kicked me up, and I was like, this is cool, and I'm like, where the fuck has this been? So. I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought there, but look out for that review coming soon.
Chris, any thoughts to the calling back?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly no. I have no.
Have
no
you
f-
are there any like
I couldn't
games
think
or
of any
something?
games.
That,
Yeah, no, honestly, can't think of anything. I mean, when you say I didn't beat Valhalla, so I have no idea. And when you call it, when I've only seen 1 or 2 of the like present day stuff.
Sure.
When she's like jumping, or maybe those are like
No,
little,
there's like the
quests.
new main character's Layla or something. But again,
Kingdom Hearts also calls back on itself a lot.
Does it?
I like and again, as like a fan of those games, I
no,
really
you
like
it makes
that.
you feel kind of you've like
Right.
I've been along for the ride, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these 2 levels, I feel like do that a lot. Like, oh, you might remember, like, especially like I'm a monument to all of your sins. Like, I feel like it's a very classic line from Gravemind. Like, it's something that it's almost like it's like I don't want to say iconic, but like it's memorable, right? So you might remember that one. But
Makes
some of the
it
some of the
definitely
other stuff-
stuck out to me when I heard him say it. I was like,
Right.
I definitely like I don't necessarily didn't remember that from Halo 2, but now it makes sense why it stuck out.
So, Halo, another Halo level. We did Halo in Combat Evolved, which I'll reference, and we're doing a Halo again in Halo 3.
So are we? I can't remember. We're not on a Halo at all in Halo 2, right?
No, we are Delta Halo.
Okay, so we are. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry. Continue.
The synopsis of Halo, this is the final campaign level of the game. In this level, Master Chief, Thelvadam, and Sergeant Johnson make their way towards the control room in order to activate the Halo ring using the index from the first Halo encountered. However, the Gravemind says his flood to try to stop us.
I can be Toss.
Okay, I'll be Thel.
You've been shipmaster pretty much the whole series.
Oh,
Alright,
yeah. Keep
alright,
it. Shit.
alright.
I'll be Thel then.
We are aboard, humans and elites. Will you not come with us, brother?
No, this is our fight, and I will see it finished.
The Pelican flies towards the Halo ring. I'll be Cortana again, and you'll be Johnson. Johnson, do you have the frigate?
Yes, ma'am. I'll land her as close to the control room as I can.
Safer is better than close, Sergeant Major.
Roger that. And ma'am, it's good to have you back.
The Pelican arrives at Halo. The rear port engine is too damaged for a normal landing. John makes a crash landing in a snowy canyon near the control room. John and the Arbiter clamber out from beneath the cliffs and approach the forward unto dawn. From behind the cliffs approaches the forward unto dawn. Oh, the forward unto dawn is docking. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand that. I didn't understand that at all. Cortana goes, Halo. It's so new, unfinished. I'm not exactly sure what will happen when we fire it. The Arbiter tosses John an assault rifle.
We'll head for the portal and we'll all go home.
So one of the things, like we were mentioning it with callbacks, notice how familiar this area is. This
Yeah.
is straight
I
out
definitely
of
noticed
Assault
it,
from
yeah.
the control room.
Yes.
Yeah, that is it. I don't know. See, like, think about it. It's like, okay, like this is a new installation, but like, are we taking the design? Like, is every Halo ring exactly the same?
It seems like their
I would think
control
so.
ares are. Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah,
At least that's
they're
what we can
all
gather.
manufactured.
Right. The control rooms and the cartographer, which
The library, right?
right?
Yeah,
and
like
I would
they
assume
all.
most of them, right? Like you're saying, are very similar.
Yeah.
And as we make our way up the pyramid structure, Johnson, equipped with a Spartan laser, as well as Sentinels, aid us, and we hold out at the top and wait for Guilty Spark to be satisfied when there's no flood left for us to go
Yeah,
in.
little defend the door.
Yeah.
Defend the door. That part, I was on that and I was like, is this ending? Like, am I doing the right thing? Like, even
you
on
just stand
easy. Yeah, it was taking a while.
Johnson killed me once.
Oh, he did? That piece of shit.
Yeah, he killed me with the Spartan laser. I was going in with the sword, and I guess I went right at the same time.
this ends here.
Yeah. Alternate ending.
Chief, Arbiter, and Johnson reach the control room. Flood are heard approaching, but the doors seal them out. The trio enters the control room.
Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't do I did a visual gag. This is an audio only podcast.
Yank me, Chief. John removes Cortana's data chip from his helmet.
I'm not going to lose her, too.
John tosses the chip to Johnson. Johnson heads for the control panel. 343 Guilty Spark appears from above and accompanies him.
Oh, hello.
No, I want to.
Do you want to do it? All right,
Yeah,
go
I'll
for
be
it.
343 Guilty Spark. Oh, hello. Wonderful news. The installation is almost complete.
Terrific.
Yes, isn't it? I have begun simulations. No promises, but the initial results indicate that this facility should be ready to fire in just a few more days.
We don't have a few more days.
But a premature firing will destroy the Ark.
Deal with it.
Will destroy this installation. It says quietly, will destroy this installation. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. Again,
He says that quietly,
Like
but
under his
again, you
breath.
hear
like he
it.
says it
yeah.
under his
robot breath.
But again, yeah, if it's
his robot breath.
Yeah. Spark's eye suddenly turns red and blasts Johnson with an energy beam.
Ah!
Unacceptable! Unacceptable! Absolutely unacceptable! John rushes to Johnson's aid. 343 Guilty Spark shoots at John, who's flung backwards from the force of the blast and onto the floor. His energy shields drop in an attempt to recharge. Guilty Spark says in hysterics, "Protocol dictates action. I see now that helping you was wrong."
Bitch.
The Arbiter, hearing the commotion, moves forward, and Guilty Spark turns on him as well, unleashing his beam on him, knocking him out of the control room. Spark blasts John again and tries to get back up. With no shields protecting him this time, his armor starts to smoke. "You are the child of my makers, inheritor of all they left behind. You are Forerunner. But this ring is mine." John fires whatever weapons he has on him at Guilty Spark with no effect whatsoever. Spark counters with his powerful laser blast and repulsion field that pushes John backwards. 343 Guilty Spark corners Master Chief. Unnoticed by Spark, Johnson manages to sit halfway up and shoulder the Spartan laser.
Not for long.
Johnson shoots 343 Guilty Spark with a Spartan laser. Caught off guard, Spark is blasted away from Master Chief, falling to the ground and becoming inert.
Kick his ass.
Johnson passes out. Master Chief takes his Spartan laser to destroy Guilty Spark. And after making the finishing shot, Spark goes, "Oh my God." It's like this really
Well, I mean,
odd.
we've all made that noise, right? Come on.
Yeah. 343 Guilty Sparks explodes and is destroyed. A death of another character. We've only had like really 3 deaths.
No, it's true.
This is
And
the
2
third
of
one.
them happen in this game.
Right.
Yeah.
One of them is Captain Keyes.
Yeah.
No one dies in Halo 2. And then it's Miranda Keyes,
Johnson.
Johnson, Guilty Spark.
Have you guys ever seen
And
Austin Powers?
Truth as well.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you guys ever seen Austin Powers?
of course.
Yeah.
You know the joke when they're like they see the penis rocket and then they're like they keep cutting to everyone saying different things. Every time you say Johnson, I just keep thinking of it. He's like, "Sir, it's a giant Johnson," and then it cuts to like him and the you know what I mean? Like, I don't know why it keeps popping in my head.
So Master Chief bends over Johnson, who's still alive. Barely. You were Master Chief and Johnson,
Yeah,
right?
you want someone else?
I could be Master Chief.
Yeah.
I'm getting you out of here.
No, you're not.
Johnson grabs Master Chief's hand with Cortana's chip in it.
Don't let her go. Don't ever let her go. Send me out with a bang.
Johnson succumbs to his wounds. Master Chief takes Cortana from him and lets go of his hand. He stands up, wordlessly releases Cortana into Halo's core, gripping the data chip tightly.
So I guess like it is just funny again to think about this is only happening over the course of like a week, and he's like Johnson's really grown an attachment to Cortana. I guess she's been like their ship AI for a while, right? And then like she's been around.
It's a good observation.
No, I mean,
Like is she like pretty new at that point on
Yeah.
the ship when like
yeah,
is she
because
like
of
brand new?
Reach.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so Johnson, that would be her interaction with Johnson and like all them.
Right.
It's just interesting. Like it's just interesting
Which
to
it
see.
wouldn't
Like
be very long at all, considering
there's this
a few
very
months.
deep emotional connection.
Yeah.
Which is
I wouldn't say
interestingly formed.
deep. I
Or
think
I
he
guess
just
like what- he's
I think
like,
he
yeah.
just respects her, and maybe
Sure.
he understands Chief's relationship with her.
Yeah, sure.
Because,
No, and I
like,
can
he
take that.
doesn't
It's just
seem-
more of just funny to think about. Like as a like.
I mean, think about it. Chief probably doesn't have much of a relationship with anyone besides Johnson and her.
Gotcha.
I would assume. I mean, like Johnson's always
and
on
I
missions
keep
with
forgetting
them.
this takes place right after Reach. That's what's throwing me off a little bit
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
like
there's
so
no
when
gap.
they slip out of hyperspace, it's at that Halo ring from Reach. Correct.
Right.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Cortana looks sadly at Johnson's body and says, "Chief, I'm so sorry." Master Chief says nothing. He shakes the chip with his hand but quickly stops. Cortana bows her head, eyes closed, and makes a gesture, activating Halo. She uploads herself back into the chip. Master Chief places the chip in the back of his helmet, turns around, and there's a brilliant beam of light that erupts from the core. The whole control room starts to shake and fall apart. Johnson's body slides off the platform and tilts to, as it tilts to one side and begins to fall. Master Chief runs for the door, which is opened again, and the Arbiter can be seen waiting for John. And the Arbiter goes, "I'm sorry, Spartan, but come." And then with "I would have been your daddy's gone on." I don't think I've ever heard
I don't
this
think
line.
I've ever
This
heard
is
it.
funny.
Well, that sucks, but come. Like,
pretty
imagine
good.
like Keith David voice.
Well, that sucks. Yeah, that was probably just an outtake. Yeah, he's like, well, that sucks.
Yeah.
Come on. That's amazing.
Pieces of the walls around them suddenly explode, and Master Chief and the Arbiter run for the doorway leading outside, fighting a small group of flood along the way. Master Chief and the Arbiter make it back outside, revealing a piece of collapsed ice, a piece of collapsed ice forming a slope upwards.
Even in death, your sergeant guides us home.
The Dawn. Of course, the frigate. We still have a chance. We make our way across the ridge to find Johnson's Warthog and escaped. You can also get ghosts at this part if you like.
Oh, really?
It's a
And a mongoose.
Yeah. Wait, is the mongoose?
No,
down?
it's not. It's a little bit ahead. Mongoose is a little bit ahead. You
Yeah.
gotta make a
So if
left.
you before you go on that ridge, if you turn around and go down the pyramid, there's just ghosts.
Oh,
lined
okay.
up.
Sweet.
It's for an achievement. It's so while iron's on, all four of you have to get in ghosts and escape. So like,
Interesting.
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
That's
Interesting.
Vidmaster annual. Pretty sure.
Okay.
If
Was
I
there
remember
something with the
correctly.
mongoose
Wow.
too?
No.
No. I just did it for fun then.
I think yeah.
I just did it for fun.
Yeah, I did the mongoose.
I love it.
Yeah, I took the Warthog.
Yeah, I took the Warthog too.
Yeah. Well, so where is the Arbiter on the back?
Yeah, he like I guess he just
Stealth
teleport-
camos
Yeah,
on.
he just
Yeah.
stealth camos on.
I noticed that with the gun. He just is like invisible. he just appears.
He just does nothing.
I've been here the whole time.
Yeah. He just pops up.
So, again, just like in Halo 1, we are finishing with the Warthog run. Did you guys notice the skybox?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's
Yep.
the Ark.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's
Oh,
really
I didn't
cool.
know. Oh,
Like,
I didn't even look
it's
up.
instructed a lot.
But you can
There's no specific point where it just shows you it, but like it's the Ark. It's kind of like imagine like you're not looking at sky, and instead the sky is just something like
I know,
right
I
in
get-
front
yeah,
of your
that's
face.
cool. I wish I
Which
saw
is
it.
crazy to think for perspective wise, and I guess that was High Charity in the middle.
I don't know where High Charity technically is.
Yeah, because what was that in the very middle?
Is it blown up?
Yeah, it was like something. It was like it looked like a planet. It really looked like a.
Maybe it was High Charity.
That's what I was.
Because
Thinking.
High Charity lands on the Ark again. Something that they don't really like tell you. Oh, something they don't really like tell you that the High Charity just like lands on the Ark.
Sure.
It's like
Yeah,
you could
that's-
like figure it out.
I would not have known that. Absolutely
Right.
not.
And
If you
the
didn't say
game
it.
never really like it never tells you as to where these things are
Sure.
happening. But like again, it's like okay, like think about it for a sec. It's like where are you? Where could it have
I
landed?
love the skybox. Yeah,
Yeah.
I looked over the dock before I played through, and yeah, skybox. Our team, give yourself a pat on the back.
So does any there are a few points which I'll talk in the trivia, but like now think about what we know about Installation 8. It makes sense that you're escaping on this ring that isn't fully finished, and it's like
It's just the base,
scaffolding
right? Yeah,
and
that's
like
interesting.
Metal sheets kind of like thrown together. Like it like think
It's
about
the
how-
base layer almost. it
Right,
seems,
like
yeah.
it's still being built, and that's what's falling and collapsing, and it's like, oh, that makes sense. Do you guys have anything else really about the Warthog run in general before we get to the final moments of Halo 3?
I got killed way too many times by the
Yeah, so-
debris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, the fucking
Even on easy.
lasers. Those robots lasering you in the air when you're jumping.
And it's not fun
Little
on the
assholes.
mongoose. You just get thrown around.
I can only
I
imagine.
don't think I died once when I did it.
Oh well, good for you,
yeah.
Gooch.
Thanks. Thank you.
I went that there was like the hill towards like probably like when she says 80% chief, when you go over that last hill, I've went right through those openings like I think 2 or 3 times.
That's amazing.
Yeah, dude, that Vidmaster annual achievement, if one of you dies, you have to restart from the checkpoint. So, like, imagine 4 of you on a ghost. Like, it's hard.
Terrible.
Yeah, like, one person's like, oh, you're
It's just all,
doing
all
their
it
own
takes
thing.
is one
Yeah.
person to just keep
Like, I'm gonna
hustling.
go this way.
Nothing's worse than, getting 4 people together to do anything
is
so
impossible.
awful. It's so awful. It really is. Like,
Dude.
Try getting 6 for a raid in Destiny.
dude, that's what I mean. But even like, I would try to do like the Grand Theft Auto heists, and like to get 4
Oh,
people on there at a
who wants to
time to do.
matchmake for that,
Well,
you
and then
know?
matchmaking, you can't get anything, and
These
you can't
are
do
why
it solo.
achievement hunting sites exist for this exact
No, it's
reason.
true.
And,
Yeah,
like,
yes.
you can like schedule like days and times to do all this, and like,
And then, but even like
Yeah.
with like, I'd play the heist, then someone would keep fucking up, so everyone's not having fun because we
Yeah.
just keep dying and restarting and dying. Like,
dude, I remember you guys would like you were doing heists for hours.
and like we'd fuck
man.
because everyone would want to play on hard.
Yeah.
And so you
I
die
don't get
immediately,
that.
which is like you get more money, but I'm like, we're not finishing
Off
it.
top.
You
But
can just
anyways,
buy the
continue.
money. Come on.
Yeah. Continue.
All right. So we are done with the Warthog run. We will end the game. The Warthog makes the jump, and it doesn't land well, tumbling and rolling as it crashes into the frigate's hangar. Chief and the Arbiter recover. Then the Dawn shifts. A squirt beam begins sliding towards the Arbiter, who takes cover behind a pile of crates. The tank plows into it. Chief leaps over the Warthog and hesitates, seeing the Arbiter digging himself out of the crates. Chief nods at him, and the Arbiter nods back. The Arbiter rushes to the bridge while Chief runs to the hangar panel and plugs Cortana in to take control of the frigate. Her image appears from a holotank next to the panel, and she says, "Hang on." Cortana ignites the thrusters at full burn and launches the Dawn at full speed. John grabs onto the terminal, hanging on for dear life as the Dawn leaves Halo's atmosphere. As Master Chief tries to stay anchored, the Warthog flies out, striking him on its way through the open hangar doors and out into empty space. Chief flies off the panel, then glides down the floor towards the doors, with a self-destructing Halo looming beneath. Master Chief punches his fist hard in the floor and gets a grip, halting near the back end of the hangar. Cortana reaches out her arm towards him, scared of losing him. "Chief!" The Scorpion flies out towards Chief, and he ducks his head just in time as it flies over him, narrowly missing but smashing the floor behind him and falling back towards Halo. Chief begins to climb back up to Cortana, finally making it to the holotank. Meanwhile, the Arbiter makes it to the bridge and sits down at the controls. Master Chief braces behind the panel, plugging Cortana back into his helmet. "If we don't make it,
We'll make it.
it's been an honor serving with you, John." Master Chief rests his head back, exhausted. Halo suddenly explodes, engulfing the hangar in a blinding white light. All goes blank.
For us, the storm has passed. The war is over. But let us never forget those who journeyed into the howling dark and did not return. For their decision required courage beyond measure, sacrifice, and unshakable conviction that their fight, our fight, was elsewhere. As we start to rebuild, this hillside will remain barren, a memorial to heroes fallen. They ennobled all of us, and they shall not be forgotten.
Reset! Up!
I remember how this war started, what your kind did to mine. I can't forgive you. But you have my thanks for standing by him to the end. Hard to believe he's dead.
Were it so easy. Things look different without the prophet's lies clouding my vision. I would like to see our own world, to know that it is safe. Fear not, for we have made it safe. By your word, Ragucci. Take us home.
The Shadow of Intent leaves Earth to rejoin the remains of the Covenant Separatist fleet in space. Going back to the memorial, the view shows that underneath the print UNSCDF, March 3rd, 2553. The number 117 is carved into the metal of the wing, and the rank of Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy is taped to the upper right of it, as it is a tribute to John 117. Fade to black, credits roll.
So is Arbiter now shipmaster? I would assume.
No, I think Arbiter is still Arbiter.
Yeah.
I think
Like,
I think that title becomes a holy honor again.
Yes.
I think that's the point.
Yep.
But yeah, so in context, this is a few months after all this has happened. So this is taking place on March 3rd, 2553. So yeah, so a few months have passed. You know, I guess they're getting their shit together, and yeah, they have this little ceremony months after the war has ended. And we do have our epilogue.
Chief? Can you hear me? I thought I'd lost you too.
Master Chief, very much alive, awakens, floating in zero gravity in a debris-filled hallway aboard the Dawn. John looks at a gaping hole in the hallway. He drifts, floating assault rifle, and holsters it, then begins to drift to the end of the hallway.
What happened?
I'm not sure. When Halo fired, it shook itself to pieces. Did a number on the Ark. The portal couldn't sustain itself. We made it through just as it collapsed. Well, some of us made it.
The forward under Dawn is revealed to be sheared in half, floating in a cloud of its own debris, still red hot from the sudden slip space slowdown. The Dawn's remaining half continues to drift aimlessly in unknown space. Master Chief begins to drift further inside the ship, finding a row of cryotubes, complete with a hollow tank to plug Cortana into.
Bet you did it. Truth and the Covenant, the Flood, it's finished.
It's finished.
I'll drop a beacon, but it'll be a while before anyone finds us. Years, even. I miss you.
Wake me when you need me.
The cryotube closes and seals, freezing Master Chief and bringing the Halo trilogy to a conclusion. And then our legendary scene is the back half of the forward under Dawn is seen drifting towards Requiem. The planet eclipses the star at first, but the star slowly comes out from behind the planet, casting a light upon it momentarily before blinding the view completely. And that is our legendary ending.
So what's Requiem?
Requiem is a forerunner. Remember we were talking about like shield planets before?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah.
Is that what 4 takes place on?
What?
Requiem? Was that where 4 takes place on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll talk
And
about it.
that is named at that present time.
No.
Okay, so that was just he was just floating off towards a planet
I
as
think
far
they
as we knew it.
conveniently used
Yeah,
that
like it was a
to,
good. It works. No, it does.
Alright.
And I mean, they did again. They left him with just a little bit nugget enough to build something off of. So,
Yeah.
So guys, that's Halo 3. How we feeling? We have some trivia, but we can talk a little bit.
Yeah, those last 3 levels were Halo to me.
Yeah.
It really
Yeah.
was. Like it was bringing it all back. Like I said before, like it was.
The back half of the game, man.
And they really just like flew. Like I felt like I played them in no time at all.
Yeah, I thought the game, it felt really short. But
And the last two levels felt like almost one level to me. Like it was very cohesive. More so, I felt like even than the other levels. So like just the way it immediately transitioned.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, it's a great game. So much fun, really.
going back and replaying it again.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I played through it a couple times, but this time sitting down and looking over the dock while I'm playing it.
This is the first time as an adult. I feel like as a true, like as like someone who I feel like can like kind of comprehend more of like the themes and stuff. I guess that they're maybe or not even just like what they're talking about in certain scenes. Yeah, I definitely like. I always remembered playing the co-op, but yeah, it just really sank in a lot more on this playthrough.
I feel like the idea that Chief sacrifices himself to like save humanity is pretty interesting, and also the fact that like it doesn't seem like they officially. I mean, I'll get into what I mean. They don't officially categorize him as KIA because Spartans never die. Not one Spartan.
I think you mentioned that before. Yeah,
is
that's
not
interesting.
documented as killed in action. They are all missing in action.
It's supposed to be. It's like the myth. They got to keep
Spartans
the myth alive.
never die.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because like they don't have a picture of him. They just have his number and his rank. That's
That is
it.
funny. They don't. Yeah, put up like.
fucking
Card.
scroll
Should we
into
maybe?
it.
Should we maybe put up a picture of him without his mask? No. Why would we do that?
See, like I'm curious
I guess
if that's
'cause, like,
like
Spartans-
do people know what he looks like?
Yeah, but like Spartans, they seem to be taking their masks off or their helmets off pretty
Yeah,
willy nilly on
except for
Reach.
him.
Yeah, but like, do we only we don't really even see him in Reach, right? Do we ever
No,
besides
it's
the
an
end
Easter
scene?
egg. Yeah.
So like, that's an interesting thought to me. But yeah, it's very very apt point.
Yeah.
I know. I didn't think about
Maybe
it.
he knows something they don't. Maybe he's like, I'll never take my helmet off. Yeah.
And
One
again,
one shot.
I still love the like memes. It's like Master Chief like in the shower and he still has his helmet on. Like he's like he's.
Yeah, but it's cool. It's kind of wild. Like Master Chief, like they all think he's dead, and like 4 years later they're gonna find
I did
him.
love that Arbiter line though, where
Yeah,
it's so
so
easy.
easy.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
so good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Halo 3, like we finished the fight. Like they don't really go back on that, even though we do get like the Covenant remnants coming in later, and then the Prometheans. Like we really kind of like, even though Halo continued after this, that the Halo trilogy, that Bungie does like really feels finished.
Yeah.
And then we do get, after this, like we're gonna play Halo ODST. We're not gonna jump to 4. We get spin-offs, sort of was still within this Halo trilogy.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. They they decided they wanted to do more games, but not a sequel.
Sure.
It'd be interesting to get like an Arbiter spinoff. I know Arbiter had his moment in Halo 2,
No,
but what
I
about
agree
like the
with
before
you.
stuff?
It is funny how they just completely abandoned like the dual storyline in the third one. Like they
I guess
don't like
it's
they
more-
don't.
but
well,
like,
not
they're-
I'm sorry, not they're together. You're right.
Yeah.
Not
Right.
completely abandoned, but like there aren't Arbiter missions sprinkled in
Hey,
that you
I
play.
think they bring that back with ODST. You play as not just the rookie, but the,
Yeah.
the other ODST members.
No,
Not
that's
that
true.
it makes much of a difference, but like and they don't do it in Reach, but
So-
they bring that back in Halo 5 as well.
We'll talk about ODST at the end of this because I have a few questions on how we're gonna talk about that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so we gotta before we do our like ranking and maybe talk a little bit further, we're gonna do some trivia real fast with this last level, and then we have a little machinima little bonus action for you. All right, so some trivia. This level is one of 2 missions in the Halo series to share the name with another mission. I think the other one is Pillar of Autumn. In Reach, the second to last level is called the Pillar of Autumn. It has been noted that the final section bears a striking resemblance to the Silent Cartographer Island from the first game. Although it may be a coincidence, it is possible the structure is the beginnings of the Cartographer Island. So, like, it's when you drive past the landmass, that landmass from above looks like the Cartographer Island in Halo 1.
Sure.
I saw this picture and I'm like, oh, that's
No,
cool.
that makes sense.
I'm
Yeah.
like, that's something you wouldn't know just by looking at this just random wall. Cortana's line, "But you did it, the truth, the covenant, the flood, it's finished," is a reference from one of her lines from the end of Halo Combat Evolved when she says, "We did what we had to do for Earth, an entire covenant armada obliterated in the flood. We had no choice. Halo, it's finished." In the first game, John denies it as the war is not over yet. And he says, "No, I think we're just getting started," if you guys remember in Halo 1. This time, the war is in fact over, and the flood is obliterated, and he agrees. It is also a reference to the final scene of Halo 2, where John says he's finishing the fight. Finish the fight was used as a tagline for Halo 3's advertising, as we know. Also noteworthy that the Halo trilogy starts with John awakening from cryosleep and ends with him going to sleep. Again, it's like I love that. I love
that's
that. I love
that's a
that
little
kinda
bit of
shit.
symbolism. I
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
There's two. There's
That's
two
so good.
pods.
I
Waking
did-
up,
yeah.
going to sleep. Yeah.
Not even something I would have picked up, but that's it's poetic.
Yeah. Another reference to the original Combat Evolved game is the campaign lobby. Mission start is labeled Assault on the Control Room. The last section of gameplay on this level is a remake of the Warthog escape on the mall. The last level of the first game, only it is slightly more complex than the original Warthog run. It has no time limit, although you will die if the panel falls out from underneath you, which serves to replace the time limit. It maintains many of the elements of the original mall run, including a chasm jump. It is of note that both runs effectively start in control centers, the Pillar of Autumn's bridge and the Halo control room. Use the Warthog as the main method of transport, involve an escape to a hangar bay, and end with a large explosion and the destruction of a Forerunner structure. So guys, before we get into our little machinima bonus thing, the dock is the exact same length as Halo 2.
That's crazy.
60
What did you
pages.
What did you say? What did you think it was going to be like?
I can't remember
Yeah, I think we have to
specifically.
go
I
back to
thought, I
think, like
don't
50,
know.
like
Yeah, I
55
thought
or
I felt
something?
like I said something
We
like
said
that.
a
yeah.
little bit short.
Yeah.
A little bit short. But it's
crazy.
exactly 60 pages.
Wow.
So, let's rank Halo. So, obviously, we did Halo 2 and Halo 1. Where do we put Halo 3 on this ranking?
I think it might literally just go the opposite order for me. Actually, no, that's not true. I think it's 2, 3, 1.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
As
I would
with
agree.
my
And the only reason I feel like the ending sways me a little bit, but the beginning of 3 is not as strong as
it's
I
really
remember
not
it
that
being.
strong. Yeah.
After Floodgate, the whole game
It
gets
pops.
real
Yeah.
good.
It really
I don't
does.
know what it is. Yeah, I was just like, why are these levels like they feel so much more meaning
And meatier and like
Where I guess if we think about it, Halo 2 was unfinished. The beginning of Halo 3 really feels like just like the end.
kind of a little bit of like the dot at the
All right,
end.
we're
Yeah.
gonna finish up like the Halo 2 stuff, and then we're gonna get into the Halo 3 stuff. Like it is kind of interesting, like that they took that approach. That like, yeah, you're picking up right from where Halo 2 left off, and like they don't skip a beat, but they also don't like take the time to do like the beginning of the game cutscenes.
No, they don't
and,
really.
like-
It's just like you're
like-
in. Like
right,
that's
like,
it.
There's no explanation. You're in and you're going and
Yeah,
you're
no,
killing
that's
and that's
true.
it. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
And they don't. We don't get an exposition dump until Floodgate at the
True.
end, where that scene with the Arbiter and Johnson with their guns and they walk.
It's
to the
really not one
opposite
where they're
end.
holding your hand. Because I
Yeah.
felt like they
Yeah.
were they're like, you played Halo 2. You're going to play Halo 3. But, you know, like,
Right.
it's
And
interesting to say.
I mean, that we still have the tutorial, but like I think you're right. There's a lot less like hand holding in
Even that
regards.
tutorial in the beginning of Halo 3.
He's
feels
like, look
kinda
up,
rushed.
look
Yeah,
down.
Look down.
All right,
You're good.
fine.
Real quick.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, you're
shield-
good.
What's shields? All right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely 2, 3 than 1.
It's funny how I went from like I don't like Halo 3 that much into nah, okay.
No, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I remember now. Okay. Yeah. Just kidding.
yeah, fuckers.
Yeah. That's hilarious. Yeah, I think that's where I would stick. Absolutely.
yeah.
But overall, man, fun time. Going back just through these, especially the original trilogy. It's fun.
Trilogy.
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 Like I said, that's more context now. I don't know about you
Makes me
guys.
appreciate it more.
Agreed.
I was telling him when you went upstairs to get a glass of water, whoa, Trio left and like you didn't even hear it.
You heard that though, Mike, probably.
Coaster dropping. Halo, ODST, and Reach in 4 and 5 are going to be interesting. I feel like the first 3 games are like something like everyone really knows. I feel like a decent bit about those 3 games, and I think ODST and the rest going forward, it's going to be like interesting because I don't feel like a lot, like most people don't have like, especially 4 and 5. Don't have like a huge knowledge base. Like I don't even remember what happens in Halo 5.
Again, I feel like I've said this before, but I remember the boss fights. That's it for 5.
shitty
The
boss
same,
fight.
the same, like 6 boss fights.
Yes.
And even 4, I'm like so looking forward to like when we get to that scene where the librarian like ascends Master Chief and is like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
that? Like, what does that actually mean? Like, instead of just theorizing about it. And you know, we're gonna take a step back from Chief. For the next 2, we're going to be ODST, Reach, and then we'll get back to 4, and we'll kind of cap off this trilogy. But like, we're going to kind of go back into the Human Covenant War and examine from the ODST perspective, and then talk about Reach, and you know, then we'll move on.
I'm excited to talk ODST.
Same.
Yeah, machinima stuff.
Oh yeah.
Let's do it.
I don't think you can't talk Halo and not talk about machinima. I feel like machinima is a big part of.
Sure.
Are you familiar with machinima, Trio? I
Yeah,
know
somewhat.
I've thrown the word around, but you know, like, yeah.
somewhat to a degree. I know they were
Do you have
YouTube
a
channel, yeah.
definition on hand?
No, I was gonna do.
It's just like a
wanna,
YouTube.
do
It's just like a gaming YouTube chat, like one of the first, right? Like one of the first, like big early.
Machinima has a, it's a thing.
It's like a style of film. I
Interesting.
don't know if it's like
All
created.
right, Google machinima, a method of making animated film using software similar to
Oh,
that
it's literally
design-
like okay, sorry.
right, similar to that designed for making video and computer games. The genre of film is called machinima. Yeah, it's like
I didn't know that was a genre.
Yeah, it's its own genre.
Okay, interesting.
But I think it video it comes out of video games. Like it didn't exist before.
Before
It
that,
started
yeah.
more so with Halo 2, and then honestly, I mean, Red versus Blue, Halo 1 started from the very beginning. But I feel like Halo 2 and Halo 3 really kicked off.
Right. I can't tell you like how many videos like I used to watch of like funny skits
Yeah,
of Halo.
obviously we're not
Oh,
gonna
I
get to
definitely remember. I remember
everything.
seeing them out there, but I never really indulged.
Yeah, that's
If
when
you
like
know what I
YouTube
mean.
was in its prime. I feel. Yeah, and like
Yeah.
we were joking about in our group chat like a puppy in Halo
Look at his little
3. It's just like this like video of a dog like sitting on the map, and like the
CGI.
Spartans are like playing a game, and they just like notice this dog sitting there as I knock my water bottle over, and it's just like a little like chocolate lab puppy, and it's
Yeah,
just like
it's so stupid, but it's just so.
It's just
funny.
hilarious, yeah.
yeah, they all style the red and the blues. But I guess we can. We're not gonna get to every single one. I just put a lot of the more popular ones that were on the.
yeah. Let me open it up alongside you. Go ahead.
So like for instance, Red versus Blue. Everyone knows Red.
I
versus
know.
Blue.
Yeah, that's like I
That's-
don't like. I just remember that.
feel
I
like
know
that's
that
the
by
tip of the
name.
top.
Yeah.
Arby and the Chief, real good one.
I am Master Chief. Arby and the Chief. That first episode. So do you know Arby and the Chief?
Not at all.
It is basically like
No.
Arbiter and Master Chief action figures like playing Halo and like talking to each other in like the Mac like computer voice.
Microsoft Mike and Microsoft Sam.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they're just like weird. Like,
Yeah, just odd little,
text, like text to voice computer programs.
Okay.
The first episode it opens with like I guess a multiplayer match on what's it called in Halo 3? I know it's Zanzibar. I don't know what it's called in Halo 3.
Yeah, it's Zanzibar, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
what it's
don't know.
called in
I
Halo
just know
3.
from.
Yeah, I forget.
But eventually Master Chief walks up and they're like, Master Chief, and he goes, "IR guy, who's gonna teach you lesson," and it's just classic. Then we got Deus Ex Machina, which I know you're.
I watched Digital Fear, bro.
Digital Fear?
He was like one of the kings of machinima back in the day. And that was like it was like a serious.
So were these
drama.
all on the Machinima channel?
I don't think so.
Not at
most
first.
of them like started off on like their actual creators, and then
Okay.
eventually got picked up by Machinima.
Deus Ex
Okay.
Machina and Arby and the Chief were.
Okay.
They got picked
sure.
up by Machinima, and that's when Arby and the Chief kind of went downhill. They had like the spin-off, Arby and Chief in LA.
Yeah, dude, machinima,
Somebody, yeah, that fucking Ari and the Chief in LA. Who the fuck watched that? God.
dude, no, machinima. What an age of YouTube.
They still have a YouTube channel, right?
Do they? No, I thought
They've been gone for
Yeah.
a long.
Absolutely.
I can tell you that confidently. Machinima is gone.
No, I thought, but I think did someone
I
else
think the
buy
co-
their name then?
No, I think that channel's still sitting there.
I
but
hear what you mean, yeah.
Machinima is done and has been done. They went under,
Yeah, a lot of the comments I saw on
and their YouTuber partner program was bad.
yeah, oh
Okay.
yeah, definitely. That's
Interesting.
A lot,
Yeah,
of,
it's
a lot
not
of stories.
Our thoughts on the Machinima videos going away.
Like
Oh,
Adam,
so they all-
Adam
yeah.
Kovic is an original Machinima dude. I'm trying to think of who. What was it? What was that guy with him? Lawrence.
Bruce Green. Oh, Lawrence Sontag.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't know when Bruce came in, but I remember them from like Funhouse and Inside Gaming.
Yeah.
Where were we at? Forgotten Spartans. This one, these are the ones I didn't really know, like Forgotten Spartans, Matchmaking, and Sprigs. But I did watch like the first 20 minutes of the Forgotten Spartans, and it was pretty interesting. You know,
What's
I
it about?
feel like it's basically kind of gives me like a Reach vibe. It's like these
wow.
last three Spartans that are trying to find a Hornet to get off. It's set in an. I'll actually read the description. So, the Forgotten Spartans is a machinima created by Darkgnaw, initially posted in 2007 in December on Darkgnaw's channel, later moved over to the Machinima channel in July of 2008. This series is an alternate history set within the same timeline as Halo, where another ring is discovered during the events of Halo 3. After abandoning the soldiers on the ring, the UNSC fled back to Earth, leaving behind material and ordnance. The series follows the three protagonists, Darkgnaw, Conan, and Cosmic of Spartan Squad Omega as they attempt to flee the ring. So the first 20 minutes was all about them finding the Hornet to get off, and then it culminates with like a big battle between a bunch of elites and a bunch of Spartans where they all do die at the very end, and then it cuts to several months earlier, and it cuts right back to the beginning, and that's kind of where I stopped. It's like a whole 2.5 hours.
Oh yeah, that sounds
for the
like
whole
a lot.
series.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deus Ex Machina. I feel like he never finished that.
He didn't finish it because he said it sucked.
Yeah, I think he got 11 episodes in, and I remember, like, I was like, dude, when's that next episode? And it never came.
Never came out.
I remember, like, I would watch, like, when I saw an episode up, I was like, fuck yeah. Like, I was like, fucking yeah, dude. Digital Fear, Machinima, so cool. It's 2007, and I'm edgy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get frosted tips. No.
So on that note,
It's like a little later.
Deus Ex Machina. Deus Ex Machina is a thriller drama machinima series created by John CJG, who at the time went under the alias Digital Fear. John ended the series at a cliffhanger on the second part of the ninth episode of the series. This is due to John's dislike for the show, stating that it sucks. Due to this, like One Life Remaining, It's a Wonderful Life, It's a Wonderful Live, and Hard Justice, it has been omitted from the listings on his new blog. I guess he has a listing of all his machinimas, and why would he abandon that? I don't know why.
I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's
that's
obvious a lot of people liked it. And going back and looking at all the comments on these, they're just like, this was like the golden age of the internet, where
Yeah, it was
these
such a
people
different
aren't as
time.
creative anymore.
Yeah, that's
Like,
interesting.
Same
Yeah.
thing with Red versus Blue. Like the first couple seasons of Red versus Blue were great,
Really cool and
and
interesting,
now
yeah.
they're on like all.
So were they all
CGI.
filmed like in engine? Like, or like, how was it? Like, what did they do?
Theater mode.
It was
Forge,
theater.
right?
So
Yeah, Forge.
okay, and
They
they
used-
had a theater mode in 3. I didn't even realize that.
Oh yeah, it's Forge mode.
Okay,
Yeah, they just-
interesting.
You rewatch, you save clips and rewatch them.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, man.
All right.
You don't remember
File
that?
share?
I mean, I never. Well, not real. I never really got. I got
You
into
can do
like
it with campaign, too.
I thought I like remembered the file share thing, but I didn't remember. I didn't realize like it was that in depth. That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah. Really? You forgot that?
Well, I just never really utilized that much. Truthfully,
Like, you could, like, save a game and then go back and, like...
I
look-
remember
look at
for
all
like
your kills.
I remember for like custom games and stuff like that, like sharing that type of thing. But
Right.
like not really. I didn't really look at the clip side of it or anything like that.
Oh,
I guess.
dude,
So.
those are some of the best.
The file shares, there was some really cool shit and some really crazy shit.
Interesting.
Half the time it was just like women made out of
Like
guns.
weapons, yeah. And like,
The way Gooch just casually out of weapons, it was fucking insane.
it was,
Like,
what a time.
it was a wild, wild west.
Red versus Blue, RVB of Rooster Teeth fame. Red versus Blue centers on the red and blue teams, two groups of soldiers engaged in a supposed civil war. Originally, each team occupies a small base in a box canyon known as Blood Gulch. According to Simmons, one of the red team soldiers, each team's base exists only in response to the other team's base. It is later revealed that there is no actual war. Both the red and the blue armies are under the same command, Project Freelancer, and only exist as training simulations for freelance agents.
When did this fucking happen?
Dude, like season 8, I think they had like a big animated scene that went viral of like a fight scene. It's really good.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
like, yeah, I think season 14 was like the end of that like whole story.
That's
And
crazy.
then now they have like Red versus Blue 0. It's like all animated for the most part.
That's
it's done in like
crazy.
Halo 5 engine, but
Jeez,
it
that's
I've heard it
crazy.
kind of sucks.
Yeah, I feel like something that old, like it had like that feel of like they're just like, you know, Spartans in Halo 3 doing this.
Yeah,
like,
do
you know.
you remember the input code? I don't know if there was like an input code for Halo 3 to put your gun down, or if that was like waiting a certain period of time.
No, I think I don't remember how they did that.
I think it was Halo 1 and 2.
They made like them look a certain way or something like that.
They had to look like straight down or straight up, I think,
Right.
for your gun to like be centered.
Yeah. Like the things people fucking thought of to like get this shit to work is
insane.
insane.
It's a lot of ingenuity.
Insane.
Matchmaking, a Halo 3 machinima created by Darkspire Films and hosted on both YouTube and Machinima, is a popular series made up of various comedic recordings, usually about 30 seconds to 2 minutes, starring 3 players, John, Vincent, and Travis. I watched a couple of these. Some of them were pretty funny. One of
Yeah.
them was them arguing about like sand.
I feel like I've definitely seen this.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
that name sounds familiar.
One of the first ones was 2 Spartans arguing about sand trap, I think it is. Well, the one with the
Sand trap.
elephant. The one with the elephant on the
Yeah.
map.
Yeah, Sandra.
How it needed 2 cubic tons of sand. We needed more sand.
Oh, I feel like I remember
And then
that
it
one.
ends with
Absolutely. Yeah.
With the Spartan coming in and going, hey, look what I found. And he throws a flash.
Yeah.
And they scream. It was a good one. Spriggs, another one, is a Halo 3 machinima science fiction comedy series created by Run and Gun Productions and has been distributed from the internet.
It's
I
been
guess-
distributed
yeah.
From the,
I
I
guess,
guess,
like,
like out on the
offloads.
yeah.
Yeah.
This series is about a group known as the 5th Intergalactic Infantry who are abandoned by the proclaimed army and are left on Zambai 7. The plot. is, with the galaxy now at peace after the intergalactic civil war, the humans have signed a peace treaty with the Covenant elites. The series opens up after 3 war veterans are removed from their original posts and are to form the 5th Intergalactic Semi-Mechanized Infantry Battalion. However, what they do not know is that it is just a plot to keep those chosen few away from the army from causing any more damage than what they had already caused.
So simple, so stupid. like it's just so funny to see how like these guys are probably in like high school or like college doing
Probably.
this. Yeah, like
Easily.
just so
And I doubt
like,
any of them,
simple.
Any of them thought that these would go viral.
No, they were just doing shit for fun.
Yeah, and millions of
Millions of
it
people.
really,
Yeah.
it really sucks that people don't do
And the
this stuff
last one
anymore.
I think is like anything like these are the things you might have seen. The HMVs.
HMV Hell is a popular Halo 2 music video created by I'm Suck in July of 2006. Inspired by AMV Hell, which are anime music video hell. It uses various songs which correspond to the video in a humorous way, such as a scene which shows a player being ganged up on by multiple enemies set to the song All By Myself. A sequel was made in October of 2007 with the same basic premise of the first movie. The last one was released in 2016 with it being on Halo 5.
Really?
Yeah.
I think I need to look that up. Yeah, this is like your classic like YouTube like random
poops
content
almost.
of like people like taking like video game cutscenes and like dubbing like a movie over it and like that like yeah, or like putting like a song over it. I remember like World of Warcraft had that
yeah.
like where people would make music videos in WoW to like fucking like you know like your classic really sad like early 2000s songs and shit
Yeah.
like that, like your edgy crap, like
Yeah,
it's
or, like,
fucking hilarious.
I could think of like Linkin Park was probably a lot. A lot of Linkin Park,
Yeah.
a lot of Breaking Benjamin.
This Halo 3 fast food rap I think was how I found the I have a double cheeseburger and I'll hold the lettuce.
Don't
I
be from
do
the sun,
remember-
no seeds on the bun. Yeah,
Yeah,
I do
It
remember
goes-
that.
yeah. And they did it in Halo
Bars.
3.
I
And
love
I
it.
think the same thing with the Tenacious D skit where they go through the drive-through and he's like and like it's done in Halo 3 and yeah like Jack Black is like I want a four piece McNugget and he's like we only sell 6 and he's like well shove the other 2 up your ass like a double bacon McChee
Oh my god.
Yeah.
A double bacon McChee.
and I want a 4
Motherfucker.
chicken McNugget. Like the way he says it, like
I do
a
it.
4-piece chicken McNugget. Like just the way he says it. But yeah, Halo 3 Machinima was like, you know, top tier. Like the internet was such a different place even then. Crazy. You
Can't even imagine. You can't recapture it.
You
No.
cannot recapture
No.
that.
no chance.
Even Fortnite, I don't think has that shit.
No.
Like, look at Fortnite, how big it is. It's like I don't think it. I mean, fucking LeBron James.
Apparently,
Yeah,
like
he
the film mode in like of GTA 5 is a big thing people use too. Like it's.
I mean,
it's very
GTA's
robust.
got their RP community.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with like that whole what's that server? Hypixel or
I
no
don't know.
pixel? No pixel. Hypixel's a game. Yeah,
I wonder
all
if
the
they
big
do.
streamers
They
are on it.
definitely have a. I wonder if they do Red Dead roleplay service.
Oh, I'm sure,
Yeah, they
but
have,
it's
yeah.
definitely not as populated
Yeah.
as
All right, Pinhead, your time is up.
Pinhead.
Before we wrap things up here with Halo 3, Trio is going to give us the review roundup for Halo 3 like we did with Halo 2. So, Trio.
We're going right back to a Metacritic for this one as usual. Overwhelmingly positive reviews on this. I feel like
Not surprising.
unsurprisingly.
As you can expect.
Yeah,
It's got a 94 universal acclaim, as it says on Metacritic. So we'll just start going down the line here a little bit. We'll start with the first one from GamePro, a 100. For the first line, it says, "Its solid gameplay, immersive replayability, online functionality, and incredible production values will ensure its place in video game history, and it is without a doubt a satisfying and fulfilling close to a beloved trilogy." And I gotta say, I feel like that's a very astute point to even say
Yeah.
back then of like,
Hasn't aged. The comment necessarily hasn't aged too well.
but like, no, I hear, but like even,
I get it.
no, but even still of like the way, like I was playing Halo 5 with Ian earlier, my roommate, and he's like talking about, he's like, this really hasn't changed a ton, has it? I'm like, no,
No.
but like I feel like that, I feel like that shows you got a fucking great formula going in the way of
Yeah.
like, I mean, they added some more modern touches into Halo 5 with like aiming down the sights and like certain things and sprinting, but like for the most part, the gameplay hasn't changed a ton besides getting a bit more frenetic, I'd say. But I still think that's very interesting. From GameSpy, The Forge is a gargantuan achievement that puts game design in the hands of players, daring you to be creative and invent a Halo 3 multiplayer experience all your own. Of course, the multiplayer is every bit as astonishing as its past iterations, and it even eclipses its predecessor in many respects. So that seems to be more towards the
Forge mode?
multiplayer. Yeah.
Rightly so.
Yeah.
Rightly so.
And then another 100 from Eurogamer. The best game yet. The best game yet in one of. That's such a weird sentence.
Eurogamer.
The best game yet in one of the best FPS franchises of the era. Better than either of its predecessors, Halo 3 can't quite escape the category of flawed masterpiece, but this time around, the flaws are so minor that even the most churlish of reviewers...
Churlish? The fuck does that mean?
CHURLISH of reviewers would be hard-pressed to mark the game down.
Can we get a Google of what churlish means?
Churlish? I feel like that's from the Key and Peele sketch when he's like, churlish and insubordinate. Hold on.
What?
Chur...
I like totally. Once I heard churlish, I was like,
I saw. You were like,
I
What the
totally
hell?
don't even remember what he just said.
Churlish, a rude in a mean-spirited and surly way. So, rude.
What?
So you are very rude, but on top of being rude, you're doing it in a very mean-spirited way, which I feel like most rudeness.
Yeah.
So wait, can we go back to the sentence?
that's not
Sure.
a real word.
I mean, it's on.
I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
You don't have to read the whole thing. Just
Okay,
read
so, but this time around, the flaws are so minor that even the most churlish of reviewers would be hard-pressed
All right,
to
okay.
mark the
All right,
game
that
down.
makes sense. I was
So
like-
even the most, like, I guess,
Right.
Nitpicky?
surly, nitpicky,
Critical.
critical
Yeah.
reviewer will have a tough time. All right, we'll go more towards the 90s here. So, I mean, you got a bunch of stuff here.
What is the? I mean, you don't have to read the lowest
Official
review?
Xbox Game Magazine gave it 100.
Like,
Ace Game.
is
I
there
don't even know,
anything below a
G4?
90?
Yeah.
Yes.
Negative? Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So there's not many. So IGN UK gave it a 95. Trying to see other names here that we would know. Yahoo gave it a 90.
Yahoo.
Yahoo official Xbox Magazine UK gave it a 90. Let's go down. So here we start getting below 90. IGN Australia gave it an 89. Xbox World Australia gave it an 88. Let's see. Total Video Games gave it an 80. I don't know who those people are. NetJack, 78. And the lowest score is a 70
You gotta read this.
from Game Critics.
Please.
So, and I quote, "The ads promise an epic tale of tragedy, sacrifice, and heroism that Halo 3 really had no hope in hell of ever delivering. More troubling, however, is the fact that after playing the game, I can suggest with some certainty that they promised a game that Bungie didn't bother even trying to produce."
What?
So, I mean, this guy's high or on...
Churlish.
Yeah.
He's very
Churlish.
churlish. That is the most churlish review we have.
Very churlish.
Definitely.
I mean, it's insane. I don't even understand. Like,
know what game he
Maybe
was
that
playing.
guy read that review and he was like, "This guy's being churlish."
I mean, it's just insane. So here, I'll read out a 90 or an 89 from IGN Australia. "There's no denying how awesome the replay and forge features are, but they're not the core of the game. Don't get me wrong, the single-player campaign is very strong, the action is tight, the AI is fear-killing, but FEAR it's like an acronym. Do you guys know what that means? It says F period E period E A.
Like the game?
the game.
Is fear
the game
is
Fear?
AI is fear? So what was the AI and fear very good?
I don't think I think I played a little bit of Fear 3. Whatever one was co-op, I don't know.
But okay, I'll
Yeah, they're
continue.
definitely referring to the game.
Sure.
For sure. Yeah.
But for every positive, there was an area of the game that left me wanting more. The backtracking, the overly cheesy storyline, the underwhelming visuals. All multiplayer feels too much like an HD version of Halo 2 with a few gadgets you can toss around.
I can kind of I can agree with that critique. Halo 3 is not that much different from 2.
No, it's definitely not.
It's definitely like the better version of 2, but it is in line with what 2 is.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting to me though to see those reviews, even especially that like low guy back then being like, they just don't
fuck
get it.
Halo. Fuck you.
I get it more than all of you. This is a terrible game.
What was the name? Game Critics?
Yeah, Game
Have
Critics.
they reviewed any games recently?
Let's see.
Probably not.
It would be funny if that was their
If you
last
if you
reviews.
click their name, does it tell you what they
Yeah,
they
so it
review?
says, so it brings me to the site, so they're apparently still up and going.
Wow, one of that
But,
guys thought it was a job.
Yeah, fucking idiot. Anyways, yeah, guys, so overall, pretty great reviews. Same as, what were we at on Halo 2? Basically in the same neighborhood, right?
There
I
were
feel-
some negative ones.
Definitely.
Yeah, I remember you read like 2 negative ones. And it was kind of like similar things where like we were just like, I think people are just hating
Yeah, I mean,
on
it sits
Like-
sits right around the 95 and 95, right? Did I just say Halo 3 was 95?
I don't know.
God damn me. 94. So Halo 2, one above. But interesting stuff. All right, guys. All right, guys. Well, I think that does it for Halo 3. Thank you all so much for coming on this journey with us. It's been a hell of a lot of fun so far, but we got a journey still to go, my friends. We got Halo
gotta
Mombasa.
drop to New Mombasa. Yeah.
Ooh, Halo 3 ODST.
Get ready for
coming
that.
at you very soon.
Get ready for
We
that
can't wait to
piano.
discuss. We can't wait to talk
The
about it.
music, yeah.
You can find this podcast everywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We are on all the social medias at Delco Nerds. We also have a Facebook page. We have our website, DelcoNerdNetwork.com. We have a fun Discord. Come hang out with us there. We talk some Halo. Sometimes. And then also we have an email address, delconerds@gmail.com. You can email us there with comments, questions, or concerns. We will try to get back to you in a speedy manner. But for Gooch, for Chris, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.